Hey, welcome back to School Tech Reviews. I am your host, Steve Fitch. I'm an assistant principal at a couple of elementary schools in Southern California. Today we're going to talk about an app called ClassKick. It's one of those apps that can revolutionize your classroom. So without further ado, here we go. Alright, so ClassKick is one of those apps that can absolutely change how you teach your classroom. Now, today's review is not going to be an editorial or a tutorial, actually, that is going to help you design your lessons. It's just going to be a kind of an overview of what ClassKick is and how it can help you within the classroom. So as you open up the app, it will default straight to the student section, and this is where students will enter in a class code, and you'll kind of see what that is in a little bit, and they'll also put in their name and then move forward. So underneath all of that, you see this a little tab that says teacher head this way, so we'll click on that. Returning teacher, since I already have an account, as you can see here, this is one of my this is actually my work email. When I develop some of these lessons, you can see I have multiple lessons here, and most of them, since I'm not in the classroom anymore, all of these are more of just to show different teachers on how to do it. Some I've created for some individual teachers specifically and showed them how to do the different steps. So for today, we're also going to look at one that is the living and non-living things demonstration. And what that app, or what that lesson is, it's actually not a preloaded lesson, but an available public lesson that some teachers have made public. ClassKick does offer some of these. Although the amount there is not that large yet, I think we'll start to build up as more people really jump onto this. So it has multiple functions. We're going to look at how it assigns the classrooms or how it assigns the assignments for the students and how you can kind of create them. And then the student end, we'll talk about what they see, but for now we're just going to look at the teacher end. And then another video later we can kind of look at the student end of it and a little tutorial for that. But for you guys, I really want you to see what is available for the teacher. So for now, we're just going to look at the living and non-living things. This one is actually a 3-slide assignment, and the first slide is an introductory slide. The second and third slides are actually more assignment. And what you can see here, this is one that I did for some of my teachers at one of my sites, and it saves the work of the students. So essentially, you're taking worksheet assignments, putting them in an online setup so that you can get the students more comfortable with the devices, so you can reach them with a different medium, and so they can express it in multiple modalities. And that's kind of the biggest thing for me, is that they're able to express the content back to you. If you're truly just trying to assess whether or not a student can understand a concept, how they articulate that can be done in different ways, and this app allows you to do that. So let's go ahead and jump to the editorial slides. The first slide, again, this is from the teacher view. So the develop slide, we have our introductory. We have living things are living things that eat, breathe, grow, and reproduce, and non-living things are do not eat, breathe, grow, and reproduce. So this is more of an informative slide. The images can be put on through a PDF upload, through JPEGs, or different picture files be able to put on there. Or you can even just literally scan a worksheet. When I had a couple of teachers do this, I literally took the next assignment they had that was worksheet based, and we just put it onto the system. We took pictures of it so the students can edit the worksheet, and you'll see the different ways they can do that in the iPad, in the device. And again, this isn't just for the iPad. This can be done on any web browser whatsoever. So it can be done at the computer lab, and most importantly and effectively, it can be done by students at home if they have internet access, because they can do it straight on the web. Now, there's one or two functions that are not available on the web version, but they still have the availability to do so. So we're going to jump to the second slide of the teacher-generated content. And in that second slide, we have our first step. It's having trouble getting to it. Internet's a little slow out here. Our first step in students being able to give the answers back. Now, on this, students can write on this with their finger. They can speak into it. You see the little tabs on the left that show the play button, that's actually where the teacher has put instructions, verbal instructions for the students to be able to listen to the teacher specifically so they can hear the instructions over and over and over. And then you can also put little hints. For this one, the teacher for the sample lesson actually put a little song about living and non-living things. My recording device wouldn't be able to pull that audio for you, so I'm not even going to bother trying to get it for you. The students can also give the information back in an audio feed. So they could write on the device, and you can kind of see how we're doing this. Again, this is in the teacher form, but it shows the same functionality of what the student can do. But then they can also leave an audio note, and this is the cool part. If you have students that might not necessarily be able to articulate it through writing or typing, yes, you can do typed answers on this as well. They can articulate it to you in a verbal message. That is huge. When you have EL students, when you have students with disabilities, or some students that just can't get the articulation component of it. Maybe they're kindergartner, first and second grade, but they can say what the answer is. And that's the biggest part. You can also put web links within it. You can also put pictures within it. And students can do that back for the answers again. And I had a couple teachers ask me, well, why do we need the students to be able to put pictures for the answers? And one kindergartner teacher got up, and it was a perfect example. They were working on different letters and what words started with those specific letters. So for this one, it was words that started with the letter B. So students could either say words that started with the letter B in an audio note. They could write words with the letter B if they had that articulation, and with a basic stylus, it's not the prettiest, but it still works. They could type in words with the letter B, or they could take pictures of different substances around the classroom that start with the letter B. They could do that and able to use real-world experiences so that the students could show you they understand that sound. Think of it in the science component. You could add pictures of the science experiments, of the lab parts. In the math, they could do pictures of the whiteboard or the notes or a student demonstrating measurement with the ruler. There are so many functionalities that can be done with this. It's one of those apps that really is a game changer for the classroom if you just dive into it. So I do have to say I give my full-fledged recommendation for this app. It can change the way you do a lesson within the classroom. But the biggest thing is it gets the students, again, more familiar with the setup of technology in the earlier primary grades. We talk about how some teachers look at the iPads and the computers as reward systems or any toys or entertainment devices. And yes, they can be used as that. But for what we are doing, it is how they are going to live their lives. The ATM machine, the touchscreen. So get the ATM machine that we had when we were younger and the ATM machines we do now. You have the touchscreen versus the keypad. Just the functionality of how you interact with these devices and how you interact with the technology is going to be how they live their lives. And I gave it to a teacher in this sense. If I put you in a 1962 Gremlin, and I don't know if there's a 62 Gremlin, there's probably a 73 Gremlin car, you would know how to drive it. And then if 5 minutes later I put you in a 2017 Maserati, you would still be able to drive that car after about 30 seconds of figuring out the throttle because you understand the system in which it is built. The same thing goes along with this. If we give the students a different way to demonstrate their knowledge in the system, it's going to benefit them in their life skills. So with this app specifically, it does that. It gives them another sense of taking a basic lesson that you may have done on a piece of paper, on a worksheet, and develop it into a technology scheme very simply. Like I said, the picture you're looking at right now is actually a scanned copy. It was a PDF uploaded. We've gone even simpler where teachers can take a picture of the assignment and put it on here as a slide and the students can get it. I had one teacher that really wanted to jump in on this, didn't know how to do it. I said, give me your next assignment that deals with worksheets. We took the 3 pages, we put them together, we scanned them, boom, she's done. So with the ease of the functionality of this, it's a great way to get teachers who are either tech savvy or not tech savvy and get them into a tech-based lesson. If you have any questions, if you want to see a tutorial of this, leave some comments. I will be glad to put one of those together. If not, have a great one, and I will talk to you next time.